to Cassandra's Casual Corner. My name is Cassandra and I am famous. I am now producing content where I'm not viewing myself in the camera, which seems to be working better for me with the presentation of delivering information. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I kind of have an idea of what was going on, but I'm not going to tell you because you got to figure it out yourself. And I want you to pay me to tell you all my secrets. We're continuing conversations around producing content. I mean, let's get real here. The content creation is so detrimental to society. It's not good for your self-esteem. It's not good for you as an individual. It's definitely not good for those watching and viewing the costumes that you're portraying yourselves as. I mean, I literally scroll through the feed and all I can see is violence, toxic behavior, and psychosis. And then you smiling and lesbian talking your friends. It's very strange. We want to focus right this moment on the Twilight Zone episode to remind us what the Twilight Zone told us, as well as Savage Garden with the weird faces of individuals. To remind you, that's what you're looking at on these platforms, is a bunch of fake people acting fake, participating in demonic, self-centered, egotistical behavior, and reverting us to barbarianism in a new way, new shape, new form. We continuously expose what the content creation is able to do in politics. We are watching lawlessness, lack of order, and the wrong individuals leading not only in government, in Hollywood, in industry, because you want to understand that everything in Hollywood and industry controls these content creators. Sit with that because we're in transition phase. They're all trying to get to Hollywood. They're all moving to LA. And they've already ruined LA, what LA used to be. Where were we? Content creation. Moving through some energy of someone I'm familiar with, who I know is watching my YouTube page. Although I'm letting you know the photograph that you sent to the individual is causing her very much unrest. So no matter how many people are seeing your video, no matter how many people are, how unprepared you are, you'll never be prepared for people seeing your video. It's very strange, I know. I'm actually assisting this person trying to battle this energy that actually puts people in the grave sooner than later. No matter how strong you are, it's a expansion of yourself. I'm like closing my eyes. What if I fell asleep on this? What if I fell asleep? You're distracting me. Could you please go? I know you're watching. This is very important content. This is unbelievable bullcrap of what's going on the internet. Of self-centered, egotistical behavior, and people do not know how to be creative. They're calling creativity, pointing the camera at other people and filming them in toxic situations, and it's setting off a trajectory of catastrophe. We've got open borders that's literally destroying this country. We've got people trying to claim equality, and these people are Americans. Brainwashed. We've got white people marrying Persians, Indians, and Mexicans. And I ain't racist. The new situation we're in is catastrophic to the American culture, and that's the biggest concern about this content creation that you're up to. You don't want to Google something and that's all you do to produce content. Let's get real. Google is controlled by the government. How do I know this? Working in dentistry, an individual opened up a practice, which was an emergency clinic, and he said you had to pay a certain amount of dollars to get to the top of the Google search. Then you actually ask people to hire people to click onto your Google search, and then you get to the top. It's like the yellow pages, but online. That's why everybody would name their businesses ABC Home Care or ABC this and ABC, because it was at the top of the yellow pages, and people are too lazy to look through. Now consider that when you're content creating. How are you supposed to be seen and advance yourself in this business when it's a gated community? Somehow you've got to get noticed. However, even if you're noticed by the right people, which I am, there's still another gate to get through. No matter how many gates there are, you continue to produce content. That's called offense, and defense is protecting yourselves. Gary, what are you doing here? Do you understand that he will not leave me alone? No, I won't throw you a bone. I'm not talking about you. I don't want to do content with you anymore. I just think it's bogus what you're doing. I'm looking at myself in the window. I think it's actually working for me. I think I might have to get a mirror. That's because I don't know what I look like. Creating content. Pretend content. That's all you do. Imagine if you could be yourself. I'm asking you all. Imagine if you could be yourselves again. It's a constant battle zone. Right now, what am I doing right now? I think I'm in defense. Defense is protection. Offense is moving forward. So it's like holding. Throw the ball. Boom. It's like, I'm just thinking about their faces and stuff and how dumb they are. Putting in the reps. Give me a break. Yeah, you got to put in the reps. Obviously, I've put in plenty of reps. Now we're just casual. This is Casual Corner Cast. It's Saturday. I don't really have a lot to talk about. What if I just sat here and read a magazine? Yes, I'm hanging out with you at home. Oh my God, look, this is so pretty. We should make that. Oh look, Jelly. It's like, golly, man. I'm busy, I'm reading, what do you want? I don't know how to sew. I showed you some bobs and weaves. Right now I'm feeling extremely tired. And there's like nothing on television. There's like literally nothing to watch. And I'm sorry, but if you like Scarlett Johansson or any of these other prostitute celebrities, I'm like, you're like got mental problems. They're all terrible. Their movies are terrible. Their personalities are terrible. And they do not represent female companionship. Isn't this gorgeous? Look. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see it or not. It's Saturday. We're just hanging out. Like, you could be in your house doing stuff, and I'm like sitting here reading a magazine. I mean, that's what you do in real life, right? 5 o'clock Charlie. I'm going to read you a story. Looks like you owe me another horse. It's like, God. This is Mom's book. Charlie is a big old workhorse with a sad brown eyes and shaggy feathers on his feet. Aw, he belonged to Mr. Spinks, a lean, withered man with a fringe of yellow whiskers and almost matched Charlie's mane. They both lived at Tulip Hill Farm in Shropshire, England. Look, kids, an actual person who cares about you. That's me. Ooh, I'm going to show you the picture first. Mr. Spinks and everyone else thought Charlie was too old to work. Everyone, that is, except Charlie. He had reached the great age of 28, but in spite of his years and his dignity, he could still roll over. Aww, not just halfway, but a complete once-over. It was tremendous to behold, and when his rheumatism didn't bother him, he kicked and capered like an old frisky colt. That's arthritis. Charlie, you had arthritis? Oh my goodness. I love this horse. Mr. Spinks was a tough yet tender man. He thought of Charlie, who had been a strong puller in his day, so he retired him and gave him a field all to himself. Aw, with hanging out with God all day? With a nice rain barrel for drinking water, of course. It was a small field and nothing much to grow on it. Anyway, nothing but nasty thistles and chickenweed. Chickweed? What? I like that name for some weed. Chickweed? Charlie despised them both. What? Oh, he didn't like the thistles or chickweed. Charlie despised them both. One was too prickly and the other was too bitter. I totally agree. Quite regularly, Mr. Spinks managed to bring him a wisp of hay, but even so, Charlie grew hungry and bored with life. Some people are really allergic to hay. Oh, I didn't show you the picture. I don't care if you're interested in it or not. He felt so useless. Oh, Charlie, don't feel useless. He missed the busyness of the old days and the plowing and the planing, the logging and the hauling and the raking and the reaping. What's reaping? Oh, that's working. That's something with working. Oh, that's that thing where you go like this. We have one of those. And he had nowhere at all to go. Not to the mill house, to the grind. They use the word grind, the grain. Nor to the greengrocers to deliver parsnips and peas and potatoes. Nor to the blacksmith for a new set of shoes. No? Not even to the old Boar's Head Inn at Crow Cross Road? For real? Charlie? Perhaps what happened at the Boar's Head was what he missed most of all. Charlie definitely didn't miss her. Charlie remembered how every afternoon at the stroke of 5, Bertie would appear. She was not a bird at all. She was a plump-chested cook in an apron. A white one. She would bounce out of the inn like a cuckoo from a clock, and then he would pull a stout rope beside the door, which set a bell to ringing. This meant that the apple tarts were nicely brown and ready to come out of the oven. I feel like making oatmeal cookies one day. I said I feel like eating oatmeal cookies, and then God went, I'm running, I'm coming, I'm getting other cookies. Quick as flies, the people would come swarming. I know, I'm making oatmeal cookies. There were teamsters and tailors, carpenters and cobblers, bankers and barristers, goldsmiths, silversmiths, and blacksmiths. They came afoot, they came on wagons, they came in fine carriages. In the courtyard they separated. Some went indoors and the others gathered in the swing-in window into the kitchen. You're so miserable when you're together. Mr. Spinks was one who went inside. He enjoyed a bumper of punch with his apple tart. Charlie was always left standing at the hitching rail with the lines wrapped loosely around it. He towered above the elegant little hackneys and the wokadoo cobs. The moment Mr. Spinks disappeared, Charlie used to pull the lines free and lumber over the swing-out window. There he would wait politely. while the two-legged creatures were served. They all slapped him affectionately on the rump as they went back to their carts and carriages. Then at last it would be Charlie's turn. His nostrils would flutter in excitement as Bertie held out the flat of her hand. On it there was always a beautiful apple tart, oozing with juices that smelled of sugar and spices. Ooh, that smells good. Charlie, you rascal, she would exclaim. Now you get back to that hitching rail and do your eating there. I don't want you slobbering all over my clean window. When Mr. Spinks finally came out, swiping his whiskers on his sleeve, he never seemed to notice Charlie's lines were no longer wrapped around the rail. He just hooked him up, climbed onto the seat of the wagon, gave a cluck-cluck to Charlie, and off they would go home to Tulip Hill. In his retirement, Charlie sadly missed the 5 o'clock treat. He felt hungry and forlorn in his silent field with only the grasshoppers thrumming their wings together and a woodpecker drilling holes in an old dead tree. Morning, noon, and night were all alike. It was the world of nothing but weeds and sky. Day by day, his head drooped lower, his tail hung limp as an old rope. Ooh, look at Charlie. A month dragged by, and then late one afternoon, a curious thing happened. Charlie was aroused with his daydreaming by the wind. It was blowing sharply, bringing city smells and city sounds. He lifted his head, and suddenly the time clock in his mind began ringing. It was as if he heard a bell. He had to answer it. He trotted across the field, across the old dead tree, past the water barrel, faster and faster until he broke into a gallop. He was heading straight for the fence, where he was going to jump it. With all his strength and power he collected, his great bulk flung himself over and over, but he was traveling too fast. His forefoot struck the top of the rail, smashing it to bits. Oh, looks like he's got work to do. This is actually not for children right now. This is for you to open your mind to what your message is in the book. He didn't even feel or hear the crash. He was over. He was free. In a burst, he was down the lane. I'm going to try to read it like I would read it to a kid. Hold on. In a burst, he was down the lane and out upon the pike, galoping toward the village. His feathers swished, his hoofs clanked, clop, clop, cloppity clop. Stately and bold and full of purpose, he trotted gaily around the bend, down through a gap in the hills, past the old steeple church, and into Crow Cross Road. It was just like the old days. There were the friendly Boar's Head Inn and some jolly people gathering at the window. They seemed delighted to see him and thumped him more affectionately than ever. "Let's give first place to Charlie," one said, and they all bowed and made way for him. When he reached the swing-out and swing-in window, he bunted it with his nose and came face to face Bertie. Eek! She almost dropped the plate of apple tarts. "Charlie," she cried, "Charlie, Charlie!" And she reached up and kissed him on his nose. Then she chose the biggest, brownest, juiciest tart of all for him. And she let him eat it right there at the window. It was better than old times. There was no waiting in line and no wagon to pull. "Dang, Charlie, you're spoiled." Charlie stuck his tongue out, look. Charlie hadn't been so happy in weeks. He trumpeted his joy to the people, and then with a snort of greeting to the unfortunate horses tied to the rail, he galumphing back home at an easy gait, the feathers on his feet swinging in the little breeze that he made. He felt young and frisky again, and his loneliness vanished like a fog. Then the sun comes out. Each day now he trotted to the inn and arrived ride the jot before 5 o'clock, and each day he bunted the swing out, swing in window and poked his nose into the kitchen. If the kettle was hissing and the dishes, did you get that? I want to know if you saw the picture. Making a clatter, he let out a lusty bugle. Boo, 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 boo. Well, that sounded like a rooster. Oh, I need to work on that. To make Birdie notice him. She always jumped and grabbed herself as if an icicle had dropped down her bosom. Lord love a duck, she exclaimed. It must be time to ring the bell. Whatever would I do without you, Charlie? And she bounced out of the inn to the cuckoo from the clock. Cuckoo. And soon the bell was binging and bonging. The farmer wagons were pulling up and fine carriages were all about, and people were swarming into the inn for their apple tarts and tea. Ooh, I know what the moral of the story is. Slowly, a beautiful thing was happening to Charlie. Birdie began depending more and more on him to remind her when it was tea time. He became her alarm clock. And then something even more wonderful happened. She taught him how to take the rope between his big yellow teeth and ring the bell himself. At last, he had something important to do every day, rain or shine, summer or winter. Of course, Mr. Springs heard about his daily jaunts. The news traveled to Tulip Hill and well beyond, and one afternoon he was sauntering into the Boar's Head and he caught sight of Charlie, large as life, over at the window. He fancied for a moment and the thought of speaking to Charlie, but he couldn't quite bring himself to do it. He just gave a wink in his direction, then chuckling, he quickly turned his head, pretending not to see. It was kind of a secret shared. Ooh, I know something you don't know. And that's the story. And this is the moral of the story. There's a lot of morals to this story. Is there anything else I want to say? I don't know. What are you reading? I think we got some political jargon moved with fear-based thinking, and there's a couple of things. We got whistleblowers. We got remembering our best teachers are our worst enemies. We've got uncovering the truth of a fear-based society. We've got the beginning stated of content creation and how people are crazy, and then we've got, well, we're talking to someone in particular, about someone in particular, to someone in particular. And this is a clue. And there's no reason to fear that piece of crap. Collectively, as a species of male species, a woman will tell you everything, especially to show off. I mean, I literally told you the plot and the plan. Well, someone else found it, and then I posted it on True Social, didn't I? You can pretend all you want that the things that I'm saying aren't true, but I'm telling you they're true. Everything I've said about the Democratic Party is absolutely true. They're like holding on for dear life, but they're losing big time. They're children grooming for the future. Make sure your pony is securely tied, it says. We might read this one another day, though. This is actually really funny. Beware of washing the mane just before a show. These are all subconscious metaphors for politics. Detergents should be avoided. And the tail pulling undertaken with care. It's like riding a horse or a bicycle. So never lose your temper over some little mistake. Get them schooled. But have some tidbit handy for when he does well. He must be taught to stand correctly. To be led without fuss, and to move off promptly when ordered to do so. He will quickly get used to having some bridle put on, but you should put smaller weights on his back before attempting to mount him yourself. Mastery is achieved by subtlety, not by abuse. Interesting. But at least 2 people may be necessarily to work him on the lunge range. Ponies are natural jumpers, but don't expect miracles too early. Endless patience is required, and absolute authority must be maintained. And I can't say that. Once you've gained your pony's respect, half the battle is won. A few common ailments: health, warble, thrush, strangles, girth, gall, saddle, sore, splint, colic, sweet, itch, humor. If bored, ponies develop troublesome vices, so try to keep him entertained. If simple ailments are detected, don't panic. Make him warm and comfortable. Keep a few simple remedies handy. And learn how to administer them. Colds can be relieved by inhaling eucalyptus, and coughs by smearing the back of the tongue with paste. If he is constantly trying to scratch himself, suspect skin trouble. And if he rolls about, it's probably colic. Sympathetic nursing can work wonders, but don't try to replace the vet. You will know it has all been worth it when he's up and about again. And there are different types of breeds. There's actually, this is a book, this is a good book. There's the ball and chain. See? There's the Exmoor is mealy-mouthed. There's the Welsh Mountain Our most beautiful native breed is inclined to be a trifle wide in the barrel. The ancient Connemara were hanging about Galway Bay long before the songwriters got there. Fell and dale can carry prodigious weights with ease. Oh, don't forget about show jumping. You know, when you're in public, they may adopt the forward seat or the backward seat, but they must not start until the signal is given or stop before completing the course. No more than 3 refusals are permitted, and no foot must touch the water. Bunkers are not allowed, and unauthorized assistance is prohibited. Don't expect to win every time. Your turn will come. How to time your jumps. Take off too early, take off too late, take off just right. There is no doubt at all in their minds, or of course lovers. God, you're so easy. What? Whatever. That the long course of patient training, patient, laborious work and careful grooming, and are amply repaid by the thrill of attending a gymkhana, hunting a half couple of hounds, voice to give tongue, nose for owning the scent, and head for throwing up, stern for feathering, brush, scent, and mask. Charles James, or the varmint. Always do what the huntsman tells you, and if you must talk in the field, make it a whisper. Oh my God, this sounds terrible. I don't want to talk about this book anymore right now. Y'all are evil. Y'all are dumb. I'm like, y'all are so dumb. I can't stand it. Okay, that's all, I guess. See, I can sit here and do this all day long, can't I? No. Now I lost train of thought. That's what the internet's up to, though. There's perspectives on the book that I just read. We'll probably read that book again. I do not care if you're bored watching. But it is some tips for dating, for women, for men, for things to look out for content creation, and more. It's pretty sad that this is where we're at with society. Moving energy. And that is all. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. Don't care if you enjoyed it or not. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of chilling at the house. This is the kind of content that you kind of just let roll while you're doing stuff, you know? You don't really want to watch it too much. I don't know. I might actually need to go to the doctor. We'll see. Looks like they might be trying to spread my poison.